Assalamu alaikum guys, and hello everybody else. Somebody liked my double chin on the other video, so thank you very much. I'm very proud of it as well, darling. So today I am going to talk about 3 types of marriages which are quite common. So the first one is arranged marriage, the second one is forced marriage, and the third one is the beautiful love marriage. So first of all, what I'm going to do is define them. So the first one being arranged marriage, I believe, and I do interpret it this way, is a marriage in which there are 2 parties, so 2 families who agree for their children to get married, but with the consent of both children. Okay, so that's the first one. So that's arranged marriage. That's with the consent of both parties and both children, or the 2 adults which are involved. The second one is forced marriage. Now it's very, very important that we differentiate between the 2 because they are very commonly. What I'm going to do is just discuss what I believe in regards to these 3 marriages. So an arranged marriage or a love marriage, I do believe is written for us. So obviously, yeah, I believe that you're either written to fall in love with somebody, or there is somebody out there who you haven't met, who you'll meet through either your parents, a family friend, one of your friends, or somebody else who you are destined to be with. So that would be classed as an arranged marriage. Now, we'll speak about forced marriage in a moment, but what I'm going to go on to is what people will look for in either a love marriage or an arranged marriage. So I'm just going to get my little paper, as I do, my little envelope, which is perfect for all my scribblings because it just about fits. Big up to the envelope. The envelope is my best friend. So what do the parents look for in an arranged marriage, or what does a person look for when they are possibly looking to marry somebody that has been arranged for them, or they have consented to, or they are looking to consent to, or what do they look for in their partner when they not necessarily falling in love, because obviously that's just an emotion that happens on its own, but who they look to settle down with. So what qualities or what we look for, generally speaking. So the first one can be, for some people, age can be quite important. Some people don't like the idea of having a big age gap. Some people don't like the idea of having a small age gap. Some people prefer somebody older than them. Some people prefer somebody who's younger than them, whether that's a male looking for a younger female, or a younger female looking for an older male. But obviously everybody has their own idea and their own criteria regarding how old or how much age actually matters to them. The second one is their job or career. Some people don't mind having somebody who will bring regular income in, as long as it's paying all the bills and they've got some extra to either spend on holidays, maybe a new house, or just to go shopping, or have just time within the family. And there's other people who do like to maybe have all that plus. So they might be looking for someone who's a doctor, a lawyer, somebody who's got their own business, somebody who is obviously earning quite a good wage. Everybody has their own criteria. Some people will look for background. So are you from the same background as them? Are they Asian? But obviously then it can go to are they Pakistani, are they Bengali, are they Indian, are they Gujarati, are they Kashmiri, are they Mirpuri, and all the rest of it. So people will look into that. And then the last 2 I actually think are the most important, which no matter what the situation, everybody should look for, and that is a personality. Okay, so are they humble? Are they loyal? Are they trustworthy? Are they independent? Can you rely on them? Do you then want to spend the rest of your life with them? So does that personality attract you? and also values. Do they have good values? Do they value family? Do they value you? Are they going to value their wife? Are they going to value their children? Do they value the life that they live in? Do they value the things around them, the people around them, the opportunities they have? So that sort of thing. And do these matter? Obviously, depending on who you are, what experiences you've had, what family you come from, what you're looking for, what has maybe put you off from maybe previous relationships. Some of these will matter and some of them won't. But again, that's everybody's own criteria, and everybody's entitled to look for what they are looking for and why they're looking for it. And to be honest, they shouldn't always have to go around explaining themselves to everybody. And yes, a few of them and other factors will obviously do matter, because they will matter in the future. They'll matter when they move in together. They'll matter when they have children together. It'll matter on a day-to-day basis. It'll matter when their children grow up, when they become something. The influence that two people have on their children and the people that they become. So yeah, certain values, some certain characteristics and ideas do actually matter. Now, I just wanted to put this point across because I have come across a few messages from people, okay? Nobody likes a guy who is a mummy's boy, okay? No one likes a guy who can't stick up for their wife and everything comes before them. Their mummy comes before them in every single situation. Their family come before them in every single situation. You need to learn a balance, okay? So we'll go on to that more in a moment. So now we'll go on to forced marriages. Why do forced marriages happen, okay? Now, there are a few things I've written down, okay, so I'm just going to go through them now. The first one is the urge or the need to get their child married off. Have they come to a certain age where you feel as though they're too old and they need to get married off? Do they have some sort of disability which you think you won't be able to marry them to anybody off? So like a proposal's come to you and you feel as though you have to accept it. Are other people putting pressure on you? Are you well known in the community, so you feel as though you have to do things at a certain time? So the urge or the need to get your child married off. The second, what I've written down on here is the idea or the concept. So some people like the idea of their child getting married into a big family, having loads of money, having the luxury lifestyle, being able to have that wedding that everybody will remember, although yes, they'll remember it for the next couple of years, but they're not going to remember it in the future. And sometimes having the biggest wedding and the most expensive wedding isn't the best idea, because especially if you're having a forced marriage, they are likely to get divorced. They are not likely to stay together forever, okay? So the idea or the concept attracts people into encouraging a forced marriage. And the last thing I've written is pressure. So as I say, pressure from people, pressure from yourself, pressure from your in-laws, pressure from your father-in-law, your sister-in-law, the community. You feel as though all eyes are on you, like, oh yeah, this person's son going to get married, when's this person's daughter going to get married, when's the counsellor's child going to get married, when's that girl who's just kind of graduated into a nurse, when is she going to get married, who is she going to get married to, oh, what about that handsome boy, he's coming to an age now where he needs to get married. So pressure, okay? So forced marriages, I've written obviously the urge and the need, the idea and the concept, and also the pressure that comes with that, okay? So it can obviously be quite difficult for the person who is being encouraged into a forced marriage. So what I'm going to do is just go into general marriages, okay? Obviously I've made my point about arranged, forced, and also love marriages. Well, we'll go into love marriages more in a moment. But we should all have a criteria about who we want, whether that's a love, forced or arranged marriage, okay? But it's important sometimes to be a bit more open-minded, okay? I have my criteria: short, dark and handsome, but that doesn't mean that if somebody who was a bit taller, a bit lighter, or not really my type, I should be like, oh, do one, get out of here, mate. I don't want to get to know you. You ain't my criteria. You don't fit it. So go find somebody else, okay? So sometimes you have to have a bit of an open mind, okay? Sometimes if you want that person who's a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, when you actually meet somebody with that job, it might not actually make you happy. Because what will happen is they might be too educated for you, they might be too formal for you. So it's always important to be open-minded in whatever situation or marriage you're looking to go into, okay? You should always look, parents, okay, especially, should always look for their child's happiness, okay, their stability, their future, and also whether or not they're actually compatible to this person, okay, and they've got, or if obviously it's a love marriage, do they have a good relationship with this person? Does this person have respect for them? Does this person have love for them? Okay, does this person want to do everything for them? So yeah, and also a good person. Obviously, if it's maybe a love marriage that people don't agree with in the family, okay, sometimes after quite a while you come to a point where you start to understand that your child is not going to get married to anybody but the person that actually they want to get married to, okay? Now, when you love somebody, there's a lot of emotion that goes into that. It's not, you don't choose it and you don't decide it, and you don't just pick them off the street and say, I'm going to love you today, honey. Yay! I'm going to love you for the rest of my life. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of emotions and things that go into it. Now, going back to the part of somebody's written for you, if that person is written for that person, they are going to love them no matter whether the parents agree with it or not, okay? They are going to love them no matter how much it takes for them to get married to them. I mean, sometimes when parents find out about two people being in love, they can go and obviously do the forced marriage concept, where obviously they don't accept the girl or the boy at all, and that's it. They're just going to do what they want to do, okay? So all them things are important, okay? And going back to a good person, whether you accept them or not, no matter how that person and your child ends up getting married, whether that's you guys accepting him in the first place, whether that ends up because of you guys not accepting him, it ends up in them running away or secretly marrying him, which I hope that would never be the situation for anybody's child. Just think that if they've gone so far to actually go and marry them or to stay with them, there's something about this person's character which they are not leaving, and you should come to a point where you start to understand that maybe this human being, okay, might not be good for us, but potentially you don't even know that person, but somewhere along this line, this person is good for my child. And a good person, and I hope everybody's son or daughter gets married to a good person and a good character. If they are that, they will come to a point where they'll actually be like, do you know what? They're not going to accept me, so I'm going to try and make them accept me. So they'll try and obviously be that extra nice to you. They'll try and make effort with you. They'll try and show you love. They'll try and send you presents. They'll try and invite you to the house. They'll try and obviously just make your child look like they are really happy, and hopefully obviously that is really going on in the house. But trust me, when you let your child get into their love marriage or marry the person that they love, you will see a total difference in their character. You will see such a happy character compared to the character that was not happy because they were not allowed to marry the person that they wanted because of ideas or criterias or pressures that they had from other people, okay? So that is kind of the love marriage situation that I've kind of gone into then. Don't think about what's important now, okay? If you get your child married into a different culture to somebody who's older than them, if it's a girl, if it's a boy, because some people do look down at males getting married to older females, whether that is somebody that's just working in the local supermarket, okay? Whether that is somebody who is just different to you guys, okay? Just accept them, because at the end of the day, they do have the opportunity to change that. They do have the have the opportunity, if that's important to your child and the person that they love, for them to go up in their career. There's always opportunity in this world to change. There's also opportunity there for everybody to increase their education, to become a better person. Obviously, there's a difference between a very rubbish person, okay, and a decent person or a very good person. But it's really important for parents to actually just maybe look at their children and evaluate them and just wonder, right, okay, so my child's been with this person, or my child's with this person, and they're happy with him. We might not be happy with him, okay, but why would you want to force marry your child and they're not going to be happy? They're going to end up divorced, and all that pressure that you had from other people, that urge that you had, that idea and concept that you had regarding putting your child into a forced marriage, is that really going to pay off in the end? No, it's not. I know a lot of people that end up in different marriages or are in some sort of different marriage compared to what they thought that they would be. I've seen people be in love with people for ages, and it's come to a point where they've actually realised that that person isn't good for them because they have actually shown very negative behaviour, like beating them up, threatening them, being controlling, not letting them do anything, not letting them spend any time with their family. Trust me, if your child is with somebody like that, they will leave them before they get married, or if they are so bothered about marrying them that they do it anyway, they will end up divorced. So that kind of decision is theirs that they've made. So at the end of the day, if you just let your child get on with it, you won't be the one that they blame in the end because they've made that decision. I've also just seen some girls end up just going to Pakistan and end up in forced marriages because their parents want to please their sisters and their brothers or their cousins or anything like that. It's not allowed. It's not allowed morally. It's not allowed religiously. It might be cultural, but where's culture going to take you? Nowhere. It's just going to keep you happy in this life. I've also seen boys and girls run away because they're not allowed to get married. Now, if it comes to that, people will do that because if you're a Muslim, for example, or even a Christian to a certain extent, and follow Christianity, there's certain things that aren't allowed out of marriage. Now, are you going to let your child carry on doing that? Even the thing of even maybe holding hands and stuff is not really allowed in certain religions. So why allow your child to commit more sin or let them go down a path which isn't really allowed just to make the community happy or just make yourselves happy? Because in the end, it's not going to make anybody happy, and your child will end up just going. They'll end up just going, and it won't be any fault of their own when they've tried and tried and tried with their parents. I've then obviously seen arranged marriages where people have loved each other after they've got married, and I've also seen people which have liked each other before they've got married, and it's been an arranged marriage. So what I'm saying is, if obviously you're going to let your children go down any route, let it be the love marriage or the arranged marriage. Please avoid the forced marriage. It's not nice for anybody. It won't be nice for yourself in the end. No, if any parent tells me that I'm forced marrying my child and I'm happy with it, then I don't know what universe or planet you live in. None of the ones that exist for sure. None of the ones that exist or we learnt in our science lessons, which I never listened to anyway. That's why I don't know anything about science. I just think I need my common sense and that's it. So, do you know what? Just let your children live, okay? Let them get experiences. Okay, if you do feel as though they're a really, really, really wrong character, then have that conversation with them and let them have that conversation with you back, whether this person is actually what you think, what you've seen or what you've heard, or if they are different. I do hope, okay, coming to the end of the video now, yes, everybody's favourite time. I do hope that everybody does listen to their children, listens to their thoughts, listens to how they are feeling, because it's very, very, very important, okay? When you marry your child, it's not just that day you're getting them married, it's their life. They're going to live with that person, they're going to cook for that person, they're going to have to spend a lot of time with that person, they're going to have to show love to that person, they are going to make love to that person, they are going to make children with that person, they're going to have to bring them children up. As they bring them children up, they're going to have to spend quality time together. Do you really want your child or your grandchildren to be going through a bringing up or a marriage where they are not happy, and then their children will end up corrupted because they have been brought up in a marriage where their family aren't really happy together because it was a forced marriage or an arranged marriage which they weren't happy with. But obviously there is a difference between arranged and forced marriage. We'll go on to it again because I want to make it very clear, because there's a very big misconception about these things. Arranged marriage is where two parties agree but they're not necessarily in love in the first place. The second one is forced marriage, where it's not consented by both parties, but people go ahead no matter what consequences happen. And the third one is the love marriage, which love is a beautiful thing. Okay, it's such a natural thing, and people fall in love, but people don't wake up and think, do you know what? I just feel like falling in love today. So let's just go outside and somebody will be stood there and I'll just fall in love and all that. Okay, think about people's emotions and their feelings and their future and the consequences of your actions as a parent or as an elderly sometimes grandparents do come into it, but as an elder of the family, before you go and put your children in sticky situations. Take care, lots of love. I hope you enjoy this video. Peace.